That's a wide body beat. That's a wide body beat. That's a wide body beat.
Panther Nation, what's good? How y'all doing? Welcome to Carolina's Armchair GM. I am your host, CJ. All right, y'all. That's the only thing I could do is just shake my head in disappointment. That's all I can do, man. Like it says right here, total embarrassment, at home, nonetheless. Okay, the Panthers got destroyed in Bank of America Stadium by the Buffalo Bills, 40-9. Okay, just a terrible game overall. I mean, me and the missus went, and let me tell you, when the Bills came out and scored that first touchdown in the third quarter, I looked over at the missus and I was like, "Hey, you ready to get on up out of here?" And no, actually, I told her, I said, "Hey," I said, start the fourth quarter. If they ain't looking no better, you want to leave?" She was like, we'll give it a few more minutes." The next thing you know, Bills got another touchdown. So look, I ain't gonna lie, I dapped up the Bills fans sitting next to me because I was talking to them the whole game. They were nice and polite. I said, "Well, fellas," I said, "y'all got this one." I said, "We gonna go ahead and get out of here before this traffic get too bad." All right, and let me tell you. And I gotta give it to the Buffalo fan base. I did not think that there would be that many damn Buffalo fans in the stadium. Okay. And excuse me. And I haven't gone to a whole lot of Carolina games in my life until this year. Now I've been to every game this season, all the preseason games, fan fest, all the regular season games so far. But yeah, when I tell you that Panthers fans really like sold a crap ton of seats for this game. Like, I mean, there were Buffalo fans everywhere. I mean, from top to bottom, end zone to end zone. They were everywhere. And it was funny because this one little not old lady, she was older, but she might have been about 4 foot something. And I swear every play she jumps up. And I'm sitting there looking at my wife, and I'm like, if she gonna sit her little ass down, like I understand y'all winning right now, but damn, like I mean, and the only one, but I digress. But it was a terrible game by the Panthers. Terrible game all around, offense, defense. The only bright spot as a unit was probably the no, I'm not gonna say special teams. No, I can't say that. Fitzgerald missed the extra point, and a field goal kick. Now, mind you, he was definitely rushed on that second field goal attempt right before halftime. But to be honest with you, he shouldn't have been put in that situation anyway. Okay. Shouldn't have been put in that situation anyway. Excuse me. And we'll talk about all that here in a little bit. All right. First off, let me say to those of you who have already joined, thank you. All right. I appreciate all the love and support. I'm still about 55 subscribers away from my goal of 2,000. All right. And if you haven't already, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. I appreciate the love and support. And also, no matter what platform you're watching on, whether it be YouTube, Facebook, or X, all right, make sure you hit that like and follow button as well. All right. And again, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. And speaking of thank yous, all right, as always, thank you to the front office members and the co-GM members on here as well. All right. Again, and I always say this, whether you re-up every month, whether you were gifted a membership, I thank you for the support. I thank you for everybody who gives memberships. I really thank you for that support. It goes a great ways to helping me and the things I want to do here on the channel. And again, to everybody, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Now, let me get into a few comments here. All right. Nader says, "What's going on?" First of all, what's going on, Nader? How you doing? Good evening, Panthers fans. Evero does not know how to adjust, according to Thomas Davis. Yes, me and Tony were talking about that earlier. We were talking about that earlier. And yeah, me and him said the same thing, like right after the game. Right after the game, I talked to him. But yeah, yeah, and I sometimes I wonder if it's a he doesn't know how or he's just too stubborn and doesn't want to. You know what I mean? I sometimes I think there's a I think there's a difference, and sometimes I think it's more so the latter, than the first. So we'll see. Earl Lockley, what's going on with you, big dog? How you doing? Appreciate you showing up. Tip Drill Will, what's going on, Will Roberts? How you doing? Thank you for the $2 super chat. Said we left mid third quarter. Yeah, we probably walked out at the exact same time. We probably walked out at the exact same time. Let me tell you, the best thing about that darn game was being able to get back to the house, and watch the rest of the little miserable part of the game on my TV right here. We got home probably before the right when the fourth quarter started. Yeah. Yeah, because like I said, we don't stay far from Bank of America Stadium at all. So yeah, that was probably the best part about the this game experience for me and the missus. Appreciate you as always, Will. Thank you, man. Native says, can we get Big Mac or Andy Dalton? Big Mac, Big Mac, Big Mac, Big Mac. What you talking about? You talking about an actual Big Mac? You talking about somebody? Um, said, where are all the Bryce haters now? Oh, they still here. Oh, they are still here. They are still here, and they are in full effect. I cannot believe still. Okay, still. And I always say this: when Bryce f's up, you got to give him the smoke. Okay, but I still can't believe the amount of people that I have heard today say the exact opposite of that as far as what happened in yesterday's game. And we'll get to that here in a little bit. But yes, they out there. They definitely out there. Definitely. Okay. All right. And let's go ahead and get into it, y'all. Hey, and real quick. I do have next month the November games. Okay, I'm gonna put it on the screen here. All right, so we're playing New Orleans and the Rams. Okay, so I'm gonna do a ticket raffle for those two games as well. The New Orleans game is on November 9th at 1 p.m. Los Angeles is November 30th at 1 p.m. Okay, two ways to enter. You can join the co-GM membership tier on the YouTube channel here. And if you join the co-GM membership tier, you're automatically entered for both of these. Okay, so you have to pay the $10 once. All right. If you join the co-GM membership, you're automatically entered for these tickets, for both these ticket raffles for November. Okay, if you're currently a member of the co-GM tier, all right, and you re-up for next month, you will also be automatically entered for both of these. Okay, so you set for both of them. And if you don't want to go to both of them, maybe you want to go to one or you decide the last minute, all you got to do, shoot me $10 to the Cash App, the Armchair GMCJ, and tell me which game that you want to enter for. Okay, so that is the giveaway. These are the giveaways, the ticket raffles for next month, the month of November, which is rapidly approaching. Rapidly approaching. And you know what also is rapidly approaching? Daylight savings time. And I know y'all gonna think I'm weird for this, but when I say I cannot stand this round of daylight savings time, I cannot stand it. I promise you. I promise you. Whenever time turns back an hour, that's when I get time to do stuff in the evenings, and then it gets dark at 5 o'clock. Yeah. And when I get all evening, they don't get dark till 8:30, and then something always happens. It's raining, whatever you want to call it. All right. But yeah, like I said, I know y'all not gonna like that one, but I mean I will like the extra hour of sleep, but I do hate it getting dark at 5:30. But yeah. All right. I digress. Let's go ahead and move on. SC Panthers, boy, what's going on? What's up, CJ? It's non-victory Monday. No, it's belt the ass Monday. Yes, and we and it wasn't us, putting the belt to somebody's ass. We got our ass beat. Yes, it's BTA Monday for the Panthers. It's not victory Monday. It is BTA Monday. Man, let me tell you. And I think the thing is, I knew, okay, I knew even if Bryce Young was 100% healthy, never got hurt last week, all right, I knew there was a good chance that we probably would lose this game, okay? Now, you fast forward, and Bryce is out, Andy Dalton is the backup, I still knew there was a good chance that we wouldn't win this game on Sunday. But I think the thing that got me is the way we lost. Okay. I did not think that the team was gonna look so pitiful from top to bottom. I think that's what pisses me off the most about this win. I mean about this loss, I'm sorry, is the way we lost. Okay. The same thing that we did to Miami, the same thing that we did to Dallas. We got that we got that Uno reverse card from Buffalo Bills, and they said, "Let's run that back, Turbo." And they did the same thing to us, the exact same thing. Okay, domination on the ground from the Bills, and Josh Allen back there. He didn't have to do much. He did not have to do much at all. He did just what he needed to do, and won by 31 points. So yeah, complete domination on the ground. All right. Native says, what can we do with Andy? He is just too bad. You know what? Let me tell you. I don't think that is let's say the real Andy Dalton. Okay. I do think he is better than what he played yesterday. Okay. I'm gonna give him that much credit. I do think Andy is better than what he played yesterday. Now mind you, there was some things that, yes, he could have done better. There was a lot of things that were out of his control yesterday. But to be honest with you though, to be honest with you, um if, okay, just say let's do a couple scenarios here. All right, if we get to the end of this season, Panthers win a few more games, okay? Um Bryce looks better, and the organization is like, okay, we're going to stick with Bryce. All right? We're probably going to have to go out and find us another backup QB. Okay, Andy Dalton is getting up there in age, and and I know this will make some people happy, but my thing is this: get somebody out there that's going to challenge Bryce. All right. Don't get anybody in here just to sit there and be like, okay, just I'm Bill here on the sideline. Just holler at me when you need me. Okay. I mean, which is a backup QB's role. But hey, get somebody in here to challenge him. Okay, get somebody in here to make him and the rest of the team better. All right, you bring in somebody that challenge Bryce, and in the event that he gets hurt again next year, the year after, you got somebody in here that is going to be able to step in, step up, and show out. Okay, and no disrespect to Andy. Like I said, I think he's a lot better than he played yesterday, but this is what we're going to get from Andy from here on out. Then we gonna have to check for more options, right? And that's just it. And said Andy looked like a damn rookie. He did. He really did yesterday. He looked he looked lost. Okay, he looked lost at times. And when I went back and looked at the all 22, and I got some clips of it. Excuse me. Now, mind you, it doesn't really show too much. Well, it shows a little bit. Okay. But the same thing that I see from Bryce, I see from Andy too. And when I say that, I'm sorry, excuse me, y'all. I'm still fighting this cough I had all last week. It's a lot better, but when I get to talking, it gets to me. But the same things that I seen from Bryce, I seen from Andy yesterday. And I say that if you look at the game, you'll see a lot of times Andy was staring down one side of the field. Okay. And my thing is this: I'm like, okay, so at first I was like, well, damn, Bryce, you got sometimes two, three, four other wide receivers out there on the field. Why are you staring down this left side of the field? Why are you staring down the middle? Why are you staring down the right side of the field? And I look and I'm like, well, damn, Andy doing out there and did the same damn thing. There was a play where he got sacked, and they ran two corner routes with Jalen Coker and Xavier Legette. Okay. And then you had oh my goodness, you had was it Bryson Tremaine and Tet running comeback routes in the middle of the field. Andy Dalton sat there and looked to the right side of the field towards the Buffalo bench, and that was a wrap. Then the pocket collapsed on him, and he tried to run, and old buddy like took two steps and reached out and grabbed him, and it was a wrap, literally. Okay. But like I said, I'm seeing the same things, you know, out of both quarterbacks. And now I'm just like, okay, well, bet. Is this what they're being taught? Is this what they're practicing? You know what I mean? Because you look at a lot of other quarterbacks in the league, and it's just like, and you got a 1, 2, you got a progression going on. You know, and our quarterbacks out there like, "You're not open? You sure? You not open? No, I'll get to you later. You sure you're not open?" And then the play is over. So, but you know, we'll see. So he can't run, can't hide, can't throw. He is good for INT interceptions. He was yesterday, man. MDJ, what's going on with you? I've been saying Andy trash for so long, CJ. Man, like I said, man, like I said, you know, we've seen Andy go come out there and play good. We saw it back when Bryce's rookie year came in Seattle. Great game for him. Lost the game. We saw it last year. Came in for in the Raiders game. Okay. And played a great game. We won that game. And then, you know, he went and proceeded to lose 5 straight or 4 straight. You know, I think it was 5 games. Yeah, 4 straight games. So you know that we've seen good, but if you want to add it all up together at Andy's time in Charlotte, we've probably seen more. You know, a not good football from Andy than good football. Okay, so we'll see. We need to check. Sorry, ass Andy's Dalton bank statement after this game, CJ. Excuse me. It's funny because there's one play that I'm gonna show y'all here in a little bit. Andy took a sack, and when I say it looks hella suspicious, I mean hella suspicious. But like I said, we'll get we'll get into that in a minute. We'll get into that in a minute. All right, so let's go ahead and move on here. Okay. All right. So let's get into the numbers from Sunday's game. All right. So as you see, the Bills scored 40, the Panthers scored 9. All right. And now I'm going to have to come up with me a nice little work truck karaoke song to put on my TikTok channel tomorrow, you know, to display my frustrations as I drive to work in the morning. All right. Still debating, weighing the options of what I'm gonna do. You know, it's still debating if I'm even gonna be able to sing it with my voice like this. All right, so game leaders. Passing yards, Josh Allen had 163. Andy Dalton had 175. All right. Excuse me. Andy Dalton was also sacked 7 times for a loss of 45 yards. Okay. James Cook the third. Make sure I say that whole James Cook the third. 19 carries, y'all. 19 carries, 216 yards and 2 touchdowns. And if I'm not mistaken, y'all check me on this one. He did all of this in 3 quarters, y'all. 3 quarters. I don't think James Cook played in the fourth quarter. I don't think so. Y'all let me know if I'm wrong or not. All right, receiving yards. Shakir for Buffalo had 88, had one 54-yard touchdown that you know was just pitiful defense by the Panthers on that play, you know, just out of position, missed tackles, and yeah. T-Mac, okay. T-Mac had 99 yards for us on 7 receptions. Okay. You know, one bright spot of this game was Teteroa McMillan. All right. Sacks. Let me see. Hochet, however you say that name, Hochat, whatever. He had 1.5 for the Bills, and Trevin Wallace had 1 for Panthers. I do think that um Ashawn Robinson and Nick Scorton combined for another sack on Josh Allen earlier in the game. All right, tackles. D. Williams for the Bills had 4 solo tackles and was becoming a recurring theme. Christian Roseboom leading the Panthers in tackles with 7 solo tackles. All right. Team stats. Okay. All right. 410 yards for the Buffalo Bills, 244. Hoyt. Okay, thank you. Pronounced Hoyt. All right. Hoyt had 1.5 sacks. Thank you, dear. Appreciate that. The Bills had 410 yards total. We had 244. We had 3 turnovers. 3 turnovers, y'all. 3 of them. Okay. Andy had an interception and 2 fumbles. Interception and 2 fumbles. Okay. First downs, Buffalo had 23, we had 19. Penalties, they had 70 for 60 yards, we had 4 for 20. Third down conversions, they were 7 of 12, we were 4 for 11. 4 for 11, y'all. We were 1 for 1 on fourth down. They were 2 and 3 in the red zone. We were 1 and 2. Time of possession, 33 minutes for the Bills, 26 minutes for the Panthers. Okay. So these stats right here, besides the the penalties and the 1/4 down, complete domination by the Buffalo Bills yesterday here in Charlotte. Okay. Let me tell you, boy, it was a mess, and it was even it was even worse in person. It was even worse in person, and you know what? And but besides, and to add on to the fact so many Bills fans there, I mean, it was to the point where the Buffalo players were just turning around, like every time we had the ball on the third down, was just turning around, doing this, trying to hype the crowd up. And I mean, I'm sitting there like, and the stadium got loud as hell. I mean, loud, like loud, loud. And I'm just like, "Well, goddamn, are we in Orchard Park or are we in Charlotte? We on Mint Street or we up in the tundra? Like, what the hell is going on here?" So yeah, it was a mess. It was a mess all the way around. All right. Okay. Keys to victory. All right. You can take the keys yesterday. You can melt all them jokers down and toss them into the Chattahoochee River. All right. None of them were met yesterday. Stop the run. Absolutely not. Run the ball. And we're gonna get into that later. Okay. I did put a red on this one. I mean, we did have 114 rushing yards, but but we're gonna talk about that here later. All right. Forced turnovers. We forced none. Get pressure on Josh Allen. Besides the 2 sacks that we had on him, there was nothing. And on those 2 sacks, it was it was just excellent coverage by the Panthers on those 2 particular plays. Those 2 particular plays. The rest of the game, Allen was just back there doing what he wanted to do, chilling time in the pocket, making copies of important paperwork, sending texts, emails, heating up Pop-Tarts. I mean, he was doing what he wanted back there in the pocket. So, but yeah, so getting pressure on Allen, absolutely not. It was non-existent in this game right here. All right. Let me see. The boy say you need to have the Brinks Bank transfer truck with Dalton name on it. He definitely got paid off. CJ said no, no LOL. I'm serious. I feel you. I feel you. That was yeah, that was a mess. Put Rico as number 1 back for some unknown reason. Canales don't want to admit Rico is our number 1 running back. And we're going to get into that here in a little bit too. Yes, Hoyt. Thank you, dear. Appreciate you. Rock Jones, what's going on, cousin? How you doing, bud? Said Greek Canales needs to swallow his pride and start Rico. Yes, yes. What's good with you, Rock? 3 INTs says it all. Yeah, well, he had total turnover. He had 2 fumbles and 1 pick. But let me tell you, that pick was just it was terrible. It was so bad, and it looked so much worse when I actually saw the replay. Like I said, from where we sit at, that play happened on the far end of the field. So we saw the replay, in the stadium on the jumbotron. But when I got here and looked at it, I was just like, dude, like why? Like why in God's name did you throw that ball? But yeah, at least McMillan is the real deal. This is true. This is very true. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into, as I like to call, the meat and potatoes. All right, defensive no show. Okay, defensive no show. All right, what was our 8th ranked run defense, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on, let me see. I should have had this up. Hold on, let me see. All right, let me see. Total defense. I think we were. Okay, total defense, we're sitting at number 7. Man, I don't know if this is updated or not. No, I don't think this is updated yet. It still has us at number 8, 92.6 yards a game. That's definitely going to change after this bad boy. That's definitely going to change. All right. But I mean, just the defensive no show in really in all phases. Okay, like I said, besides a couple sacks that we got on Josh Allen, he had all day to sit back there, throw. He really picked his defense apart for what he had to do. Okay, and he didn't have to do a lot because this man right here, James Cook was running the ball all over the place. Okay. And let me show y'all this right here. All right. Now, mind you, this is Buffalo's first play of the game. Okay. And there is a theme. There is a theme. Talking to Tony earlier, and he pointed this out to me. I hadn't noticed it yet sitting around here today. But if you look, okay, if you look right there on the right side of our defensive line, that is Derek Brown and Ashawn Robinson. Okay? Derek Brown and Ashawn Robinson. And you know what Buffalo did for this entire game? Just about wherever Ashawn and Derek lined up, they ran the opposite way. Oh, I'm sorry, this way on this play. Okay? You see them two lined up right there on the right side of the defensive line? They ran the opposite way all game long. Okay? We let this play out. All right, and mind you, you see Buffalo, they got tight end, and then they got a receiver in the slot right there. Okay, so their strong side is to the left. All right, but as you can see, you got three of our defensive tackle, two defensive ends, on the on the right side. All right, look at this. Look at the hole he has right there. Look at the hole. And then look on the backside of this play. Okay. There's Ashawn Robinson and Derek Brown. Okay. Not really able to do anything because they literally ran away from them the entire game. Okay. I have to say this. Shout out to Joe Brady and their offensive staff. When I say they had a week and they made a game plan for this Carolina Panthers defense, they made a game plan. All right. Then it was a damn good one. And look at this. And look at Cook just, had his way. Look at this one more time. All right. They ran away from A-Rob and D Brown all game long. He gets this toss. Look at that hole he got right there. I mean, he literally has two options. Okay. He could keep it and go left right here, but he goes in between Deion Dawkins and number 66. All right. First play of the game, 12 yards. 12 yards. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I'm not even gonna lie. When I saw that on the first play of the game, in my mind, I said, this might be a long day. This might be a long day. We have not seen that in probably, a month. We haven't seen that since the New England game. We have not seen anybody rush on us like that since the New England game. Okay. And like I was telling Tony earlier, it's not like James Cook is a type of back that the Panthers all of a sudden run into this season and we haven't seen all year. It's not like we've been stopping the running backs who are these bigger, power backs the entire season. Okay. We played against Bijan Robinson. All right. I mean, he's a bigger back, but he's a speedy guy, fast as hell, shifty. Okay. We've played against Devin Achan from the Dolphins. All right. Held them to what? 19, 20 yards rushing. Okay. And Javonte Williams, I mean, different. He's a bigger back than Cook. Brees Hall last week. Brees Hall last week held the Jets below 100 yards rushing. Okay. And the crazy thing is, and it's wild when you say any given Sunday in the NFL. It is absolutely true. Any given Sunday. So Justin Fields gets, blasted by the owner of the Jets. Okay. Then they were going to start Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor, I don't know if he banged knees with somebody in practice. He got ruled out for the game. The damn Jets go to Cincinnati and come back from 15 down in the fourth quarter and win by a point. Okay? Win by a point. Oh, and speaking of the Jets, man, shout out to the Jets and all their players and family and friends, and rest in peace to Mr. Nick Mango, their former center who passed away. I think he had kidney failure. Okay, and he was in need of a transplant, but he did not make it long enough to get one. So rest in peace to Mr. Mango, all right? But yeah, like I was saying, any given Sunday out here in the NFL, any given Sunday, okay? Let me go through a few more comments here. Rock Jones says the edges. Yeah, yeah. CJ, do you think we do something at the trade deadline? Hey, you know what? You know what? I'm not going to rule it out. But I'm not going to say that I'm sure that they will. I'm kind of 50-50 on that. I'm kind of 50-50 on that because the thing is, you know, I don't know. I don't know if Dan and Dave really got it in them to make a big trade. Okay. And the trade bait, not trade bait, but the biggest thing we got to offer right now as far as trades is in our running back room. Okay. And the thing is, and I say this, and like I like to say, anything is possible. You never know. Them jokers might mess around and trade Rico Dowdle, and be like, nah, Chuba, we signed you. We gonna stick with you, big dog. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I know that's wild and outlandish right now, but I don't put anything past our Carolina Panthers. Okay, I don't put anything past them. What's up, Austin? He said everyone live right now, CJ, and what's up, Dub, breaking down this bit belt to ass whooping. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let me see. SC Panthers boy. CJ, it's crazy how good Buffalo look with our whole, you mean like our whole team? Most of our players that we had up there. Let me see. They attacked from the edges. We did no adjustment. Yes, thanks to Evero. Yeah, you're right about that. You're right about that. There was absolutely no adjustment. It's crazy how good Buffalo looked with our whole old staff that who couldn't do anything with apparently. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Now, mind you, Sean McDermott did damn good while he was here. Okay. Now Joe Brady got the offensive coordinator job for what? Hell, was it even a season before he got cut? I think if I'm not mistaken, he got cut halfway through the season. So we'll see. So the defense made no adjustments. Nah, because my thing is the same tape that I saw of the first half was the same thing that was happening in the second half as well. Okay. So from my point of view, from my standpoint, me as being a fan, it didn't look like they made many adjustments. If they made adjustments, they weren't the right ones. So yes, sir. Rest in peace, Mr. Mango. Genetic kidney. Got you. Yeah. Joe Brady was a scapegoat that year. He definitely was. He definitely was. And got Buffalo out here balling. Yep. He damn sure was. Okay. So let's look at another play. Okay. All right. And now this one, Ashawn Robinson, okay? Ashawn Robinson and Derek Brown are both out of this play. All right. And if I'm not mistaken, is this the 61? If this is the touchdown, it might be the touchdown. Hold on. No, I'm sorry. No, this is not the touchdown. Okay. So if you look at this play here, all right. Now, mind you, okay, everybody's flowing. All right. And from the jump here, Dalvin Cook gets this ball and you gotta appreciate the vision. Okay, you see Rose Boom. Rose Boom is in his gap. All right, Trevin Wallace is in his gap. Okay, number 98, DJ Wanham. He's on the edge over here with big. I think that's Brian Dawkins right there. All right, the two people on this play that probably missed their gap assignment. All right, was Scorton. Scorton got pushed down the line a little bit. Okay, he did not hold his edge up like DJ Wanham did. Okay, and then Mike Jackson. All right, now mind you, if Mike Jackson would have been a little more close to the line of scrimmage, he might have been able to make this play, and it went for like 12 yards. All right, but you see, James Cook put his foot in the ground. And like I said, all right, Trevin Wallace in his gap. Rose Boom in his gap. All right. Shao Smith Wade is where he's supposed to be. Nick Scorton got pushed down the line a little too far. And then you got good on Mike Jackson here. And he kind of bumbles a step. And yeah, he's not catching Dalvin. Not Dalvin. He's not catching James Cook. Okay. And again, let this play run. And they did a lot of motion. A lot of motion. Okay. And per the norm in Carolina, and everybody knows we run in zone. We run in zone. I think at this point, teams run motion to try and get an advantage in their blocking assignment. Okay, because when teams run motion against us, sometimes the defense move. Most of the time in this game, it didn't. All right, yeah, cuts back 12 yards. Let me tell you, James Cook. Let me put this back up on the screen here. All right, I put his stats up here. James Cook, 19 carries, 206 yards. He averaged 11.4 yards a carry, y'all. He averaged a first down every time he touched the ball. That is ridiculous. Ridiculous. When I say this gives me 2024 vibes, and I'm just like, Lord, please, like, don't let this be. Like, don't let this ugly snake show his head again. Like, please don't. Like, please, in the good name of the Lord, please no. Please keep us away from this. Because this is, I mean, and the crazy thing was, it was a stretch last season. I think it was 7 or 8 games in a row. We gave up 200 plus yards rushing to our opponent. Okay. And like I said, we did the first game of the season, haven't done it since, and it's showing up again here in week 8. All right. So, but yeah. Okay. So now here is the 64-yard touchdown by James Cook. And again, on this play, Ashawn Robinson and Derek Brown are not in the game. Okay. Again, motion, little bit of movement out of the linebackers right here. Okay, just a little bit. Okay. Counter play. Now, mind you, you see JC Horn came down on the blitz on this play and was just like, yeah. So now, mind you, he was there just in case Josh Allen scrambled out on the bootleg, but that wasn't the case. He handed off the ball off to Cook. Okay. Then you have Trevin Wallace here. Like I said, and the only other thing on this plate, if you see LeBron right here, number 93 on the right side, he's right here next to Juan. Okay. What in God's name were these two doing? You know what I mean? Like, he runs straight out into DJ Juan. I don't know if they were supposed to do a stunt, or what, but there was some miscommunication there on that play. All right. And then Wallace gets picked up. Okay. Trayvon Merrick, he falls, and I've seen a lot of people making comments about the turf on the field as well, because Derek Brown said that, he got his foot got caught up in the turf, and that's why he went out later on the game, but he said he was fine. All right. Merrick falls right there. He tries to make a tackle. Nick Scott is blocked. Roseboom is blocked. Now, mind you, I do think that whoever is guarding Bobby Brown right here. Let me go back a little bit. Let me see, 70 something. Okay, watch his arm. Watch what he does to Bobby Brown's arm. Okay, look at that. I mean, it's like he's holding the infant baby. It's like he said, "Oh, come here, precious. Don't leave me just yet." I mean, got a complete hold on him. Okay, and mind you, I know that you can see holding on every play, but it's bro. Like, sometimes it's way more egregious than others, and this was one of those. And I'm just like, okay, all right, bet. You know, and again, gone. All right. Let me tell you, ain't nobody on this defense catching James Cook. Even to the point, this dodo flipped in the end zone. I'm just like, yeah, and they total disrespect, total disrespect. But I ain't mad at him. I ain't mad at him. All right. Let me see. I said we fell for the eye candy on pre-snap every damn time, every damn time. Roger Jones, I want to see what Corey Thornton for a full game. I would too. I would too. Now, mind you, he's not a burner, okay, but I think he's a more aggressive corner. And and to be honest with you, like, Mike Jack didn't really get burned in the passing game. In this game, they just got burnt as a defense. I mean, just complete and utter domination across the board. All right. Okay, so one more touchdown for James Cook here, and this was his second one. 21-yard touchdown. Okay, you see a little better on this play right here. All right. You got Derek Brown, Ashawn Robinson on the left side of this screen right here. Okay. And watch what they do. All right, you see Josh Allen pull one of these right here. He tells the fullback or his tight end to come back in the backfield. All right, and again, and again, look at the lineup for the formation for the Buffalo Bills. Okay, they got two tight ends and a fullback on the left side. Look at our defensive formation right here. You got Nick Scorton on the right side. The three defensive linemen are kind of lined up in the middle, but Ashawn Robinson is lined up to the left of the center. Okay, and watch good old 53, Claude Sherrill is here on the play as well. Okay. And then you'll see Nick Scorton drops back in coverage. Okay. For whatever reason. All right. Nick Scorton back in coverage. Okay. Now I don't know if this was just a really good get off by Derek Brown or old buddy let him go on purpose. All right. But yeah, just let him go. Okay. Again, Derek Brown, Ashawn Robinson chasing the play on the backside. Okay. Look at this. Gone. Gone. Again. He looks at the defense, tell my man to shift. Like I said, all game long. Ashawn, D-Rob, they said it's cool. You stay right on over there. We're gonna run right past you. Okay. And then look at Claude Sherrill's number 53. Okay. Now what he did was it looked like he was trying to he see right here. Okay, he takes off running like he thinks that James Cook is going to break this outside. Okay. Now, what he should have done, he should have stayed in his gap. Okay. He should have filled that gap, closed that hole. And that way, if James Cook would have broke that outside, you got Christian Roseboom, who's already ahead of you. Okay. And then you got another cornerback on that side of the field as well. All right. So what he did, he jumped the gun and he tried to like I said, look right here. Right here. He takes off. He starts accelerating like he thinks James Cook is going to bounce it out to the left and go that way. James Cook said, "Nope." And by the time he tried to do anything, too late. All right, absolutely too late. Okay, but yeah, a complete defensive no show. Let me tell you that I put out a tweet and I was like, that eighth ranked run defense must have stayed at home in Valentine on Sunday because it did not show up at Bank of America Stadium at all. All right. All right. So let's move on here. Okay. Andy Dalton. All right. And I put on here, what did we expect? Okay. I think that I know it like MDJ said he's been down on Andy Dalton, from probably from the get-go for a while. Okay. But I don't think that any of us were expecting this. Okay. I don't think any of us were expecting this at all. He was 16 to 24, 175 yards, 7.3 average per throw, no touchdowns, one interception, two fumbles. Bills had 7 sacks. All right. He had a 4.2 QBR and a 70.7 quarterback rate. Okay. Just a overall bad day for Andy Dalton. Okay. Started off okay. All right. Started off okay. As far as well, no, let me say that. No, it did not start off okay. It did not start off okay. It started off pretty bad and it got worse as the game continued. You know, and mind you, you know, in I kind of hate it for Andy, but I'm gonna do the same thing and I'm gonna say the same thing that I would say about Bryce. All right. I'm not putting all the blame on Andy. Okay. Now, mind you, he had a major hand in this, but it was not all his fault. Okay. The first drive of the game, did not see this until I went back and looked at the tape. That sack that they gave up, Cade Mays stepped on Brady Christensen's foot. And Brady Christensen could not turn around and get to his defender. He ran right back there and sacked Andy Dalton. Okay. Now, mind you, there were a few plays, a couple sacks on that last drive we had before halftime. All right. That I do believe if Bryce would have been in the game, he may have been able, to escape those couple of sacks. All right. But then you look at our offensive line as the game went on. I didn't even realize that Cade Mays was out of the game. I'm sitting there and it's late in the second quarter, and Tony sends me a message and he was like, he said, "Is that Austin Corbett in the game?" And I stand up and I look and I'm like, crap, that is Austin Corbett. Did not realize Cade Mays was out. Okay. Did not know that Taylor Moton was out at the I think after halftime, because he was out there for that last drive. And I think I have the play on here where he got hurt as well. Okay. So Brady Christensen done for the season. He got a ruptured Achilles. Taylor Moton is a knee issue. Cade Mays is an ankle issue. Okay. And they said he was on the bike, for the majority of the second half. All right. So, hopefully he is he'll be okay, but we'll see. All right, we'll see. But yeah, but it just got worse, as the game went on. Josh Nyman came into play and just got pushed backwards. I mean the entire time he was in the game. I mean, just pushed straight backwards the entire time. Okay. And then even what's my man name? Nymic. I can't remember. Hold on. Excuse me. I got it right here. Let me see. Centers. Nick Samak, however you say it. Okay. He ended up having to come in the game and play guard. He's the backup, he is the third string center. Okay. But I guess it's good that we got a few people that can play a few different positions. All right. Three turnovers by Andy. How can we defend him, CJ? That INT was like a pick six. Oh no, I know. Don't get me wrong. I'm not defending him at all. I'm not defending him at all. Okay. But I'm just saying though, he had a major hand in this. Okay. But like I would say for Bryce Young as well, Andy does not play defense either. All right. He did not help the defense out. He did not help the offense out for a large part of the game. You know, but again, if you want to put this on a scale of 1 to 100, I'm had to get about 50-50 offense and defense. Okay. They both look bad the entire game. Right. So let's take a look at a couple plays from Andy. All right. All right. So here was his first fumble. All right. Now, mind you, okay, I like the fact that Andy saw that wasn't anything going on. He puts the ball, he tucked the ball away, but old buddy came from behind him, hit him in the arm, and the ball went flying. Okay. Now, mind you, this was critical. This was crucial because the Panthers were, let me see, were we in the red zone? Yes. Panthers were in the red zone in this play. Okay. And at this point, we were just outside the red zone. Okay. But at this point, we were down 3-0. Okay. And at the very least, we could have tied the game. Okay. Or took the lead with a touchdown. But instead, Buffalo gets the ball back and they're going the other way. All right. So, like I said, just a just a bad play. Just a bad play. Like I said, Andy gets going. He takes off. Like I said, I applaud him for trying to run, get some yards, but he just didn't secure the ball good enough. And and it's not like and he's a quarterback. Okay, he's not a running back. He's not used to people, trying to swipe at his arm from behind to get the ball while he's running. Okay, but even still, though, that was a costly fumble, and that was on Andy. All right. So let's look at the interception. Now this one completely baffled me. Okay. And as you can see, they're trying to set up a screen here. So you see Icky, Damian Lewis, and Cade Mays take the snap. All right. They let everybody through, and they're going out to try and block. I think this goes out to was supposed to go to Jalen Coker. All right. My thing is this. Andy is looking this guy dead in his face. Dead in his face. The amount of times that Andy Dalton pump faked and brought the ball back when he did not see what he liked or he did not like what he saw, and he pump fake, brought the ball back down, and did not throw the ball. But this time he just said, F it. I'm putting it in the guy's hand. We gonna let it fly. All right. And I mean, and just throws the ball right to him. Throws the ball right to him. And of course, and this is the day where he got the good hands. He doesn't drop the ball. He just sits there and he tips it, gathers it up, and then runs it back down to the 1 yard line. Okay. And then on the very next play, Josh Allen, they got their own little, not really tush push, but he did a QB sneak and touchdown. All right. So at this point, we were down 6-3. Okay. And they get this touchdown. Now we're down 12-3 because they missed the extra point. All right. But again, this is another critical play because this this was at the 158 mark in the second quarter. This was under the 2-minute warning. About to go to halftime. About to go to halftime, right? And then you do this. Okay, like I said, he's looking dead at old buddy. Dead at him. The amount of times that I saw Andy Dalton act like he was gonna throw the ball, but decided not to. And yeah, like this should have been one of them, Andy. Like this definitely should have been one of them. Okay. So yeah. But another bad play by Andy. All right. Excuse me. All right. So now again, as I was saying earlier, okay, I think there were a couple plays that, if Bryce would have been in the game, it probably wouldn't have resulted, in a sack. All right. Oh, that was gotcha. I don't want to see Andy this season again. I don't want to either. I don't want to either, but in the event that we do, he gotta do better than this. Gotta do better than this. Got to. All right. So, okay, and on this play here, right? Now, this is the one, Panthers boys, you still watching? Because I'm going to guess that everybody and their mama is who's a Panthers content creator is live right now because I'm talking to a few of y'all that I appreciate that have stuck with me in this live. All right. But this was after the interception, after Buffalo got that little 1 yard touchdown. This was the next drive for the Panthers heading into heading into halftime, the last drive for the half. Okay. Now, Andy gets the ball. Okay. Now, mind you, Taylor Moton, Icky definitely get pushed back into Andy Dalton. Okay. But my thing is, look at Andy Dalton right here. All right. It looks like he feels the pressure from Icky's side. All right. And what does he do? He look at him. Look at him. He does one of these numbers. Now I know my Andy's 37 years old. I know he's not that mobile of a quarterback, but dude, you got to put in a little bit more effort than that. Okay. And that's what I'm saying. One of these plays, this might have been a play that Bryce would have been able to escape, get out the pocket, and potentially make a play. All right. Potentially. Not saying that it's 100% fact, but it could happen. Okay. This one more so than any of them that Andy Dalton took during this game. All right. Again, let me play that back. Okay. He doesn't get any help from either one of his tackles. Either one. Okay. And look at that. Now, mind you, if that was me, you know, and like I said, you kind of feel the pressure coming from your left side. My thing is now this would have been the play for him to take off right there in behind Chuba and take off running. Now, mind you, Shaq Thompson probably would have ran up and got him because Shaq is on Rico right there, or Rico is just kind of he turns around, he's waiting for Andy, but and Andy's back there just yeah. Say you are torturing us enough for Andy. Say you just see. Hey man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but it's stuff I got to point out, man. Stuff I got to point out. All right. So again, that's one of these plays here where, like I said, I think if Bryce had been in the game, it might have been a different outcome on this particular play. All right. All right, and another one. Okay, and this was a big one where Andy got sacked. All right. Mind you, after the other sack, he recovered, made it all the way down into the red zone. Mind you, we were at the 4-yard line on this play. The 4-yard line, right? All right. Now, and the crazy thing is, okay, so I hate Dave Canales' time management. I absolutely hate it. Hate it, hate it, hate it. Okay. But we get down here, and then there was a play where Jalen Coker caught a pass, right? He caught a pass and he was ruled out of bounds. Okay. Then the refs come back and say, oh, it was determined that the player was inbounds. Therefore, there's an automatic 10-second runoff. I think that's one of the dumbest rules in football. So my thing is, y'all didn't get the call right. You penalized the team. You get what I'm saying? So mind you, they ran 10 seconds off the clock, and it did not help this play at all. All right. So right here, okay. At this point, Andy, chuck this ball out of bounds. All right. You cannot take the sack on this play. This at this particular moment, we're out of timeouts, and we're trying to either get a score or get the field goal unit on the field to get it to attempt at a field goal. All right. Right here, just let it go, Andy. Just let it go. All right. And in the result of this play, the field goal unit was rushing, trying to get on the field. Barely got the snap off with a second left, and Fitzgerald missed the field goal. Okay. So at halftime, it was 19-3. All right. That's a big difference. A big difference going into halftime. Because my thought process was, all right, cool. If we can go down here, get a touchdown, get a field goal, you know, we might be, it not necessarily might be in business, but it might help us out, especially the fact that Buffalo had the ball starting the second half. And what did they do with the ball? They went straight down the field and scored a touchdown. All right. So yeah. All right. So let's get back to the slides. And like I said, Nate, I know I'm killing you. And said this play, he lost it. For real. Let me see. So what do we expect out of Andy Dalton? I expected a lot more than what we saw yesterday. Okay. But again, like I said, not putting all the blame on Andy. And a lot of that for me has to do with the saga that is continuing in the Carolina Panthers backfield. Okay. Now, mind you, the run game did not really get going like we wanted it to yet in yesterday's game. All right. And I got Rico and Chuba on the screen here, and I got the stats. I got the stats for the past 2 weeks. Okay. You look at Chuba in week 7. 14 carries, 31 yards, 2.2 average. All right. Week 8, which was yesterday, 12 carries, 34 yards, 2.8 average. All right. Rico, mind you, coming off of 2 straight 200 plus total yard games. All right. One 200 yards in rushing. The other one he had 180 something plus another maybe like 30 or something in receiving. Okay. So 2 straight games, 200 plus total yards. All right. So as far as rushing goes, week 7, Rico had 17 carries for 79 yards, 4.6 average. All right. Yesterday, he had 8 carries, 54 yards with a 6.8 yard average per carry. Okay. And why I title this The Saga Continues, because in my opinion, all right, I know that Chuba got his money. Chuba got paid. Chuba was supposed to be the featured back. Okay. My thing is this: you went out and signed Rico Dowdle. Okay. Nobody made you go sign him. You went out and signed Rico Dowdle. All right. You bring him in here. Chuba gets hurt. All right. And then Rico Dowdle starts taking off, running the rock, and just doing what he's supposed to do. Okay. And it was funny because when the first kickoff started, I saw Rico trot out there on special teams. And I looked at my wife and I said, I'll be damned. I said, I'll be damned. I said, they starting Chuba again. Mind you. Not saying anything bad against Chuba. Okay. But if you have a player who has the hot hand, okay, you got to feed them the ball. You gotta feed them the ball. That's like the other game when Dallas, okay? Damn near the only person that was doing anything for him on offense was George Pickens. And you know what? Dak kept throwing him the damn ball. Okay? You know, and then those 2 games versus Miami and versus Dallas, you know what happened? Rico was doing his damn thing, and we kept feeding him the ball. All right. Chuba comes back, and I understand, you know, and I guess maybe it's I don't know, it's kind of similar. So it took 2 games last year before Dave Canales benched Bryce Young. Okay. Now it's been 2 games since Chuba Hubbard's come back from injury, and the run game has not looked the same in 2 games. Okay. The Jets rush defense was not that great. The Bills rush defense was terrible this season. Terrible. Terrible. Okay. And just like the last game, you saw the difference when Rico got into the game versus Chuba Hubbard. Okay. And I got one more clip here. This is what Dave Canales had. So I think he was asked a question by Joe Person.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Hey, Dave. Good to see you.
Hey, Joe.
Kind of following up on the running backs. You mentioned that this is kind of a delicate situation given Chuba's standing in the locker room and your respect for him. Is there kind of a scenario? Is there a way where you can keep everyone happy and satisfied and still maybe give Rico the lion's share?
Yeah, I mean that's not the goal, right, Joe? The goal is to make sure that we put the right guys out there. That's my job, and so I really do have to look at that and evaluate it and make the best decision for the Panthers collectively. And you know, it's for me, I have to make sure that I keep it about the football. At the same time, you know, I've had a good amount of experience with Chuba, and I've seen Chuba at his best, and now we've seen Rico at his best, and so. You know, I have to make sure we have the right conversations all together and move forward.
Okay. So you've seen Chuba at his best. You've seen Rico at his best. Okay. Right now, in 2025, who is at their best? Dave? It's Rico. Okay? It's Rico. Rico is out there killing it. You know, you had your prize back for 2 games out there, running all over people, running all over everybody. And then you basically sit him down. Okay, I know Rico got in the game, but this whole this whole back and forth, Chuba gets a series, Rico gets a series, Chuba gets a series, Rico gets a series. You know, and then I hear a lot of people say, oh well, you know what y'all think? Y'all thought they was going to they want to run Rico the whole season. You know, he ain't gonna be able to keep this up. You know, every game. Like, duh, we know that. We know he's not gonna go out there and get 200 something yards every game. You know, we know that. But my thing is, if Rico is out there and he is getting yards, okay, if he is getting 6, 7 yards a carry, and he's making it second and short, making it third and short, converting on third downs, breaking big plays, okay, you keep with the hand that's hot. Rico right now is the hand that's hot. All right. And let me get back to a few comments here. He said we learned from yesterday, and he thought it was a total loser. Nervash, what's going on? Is that Canals is so damn stupid. Literally everyone else can see this. Everyone. Yes. Yes. And you know, and it's funny. Dave is a nice guy. Okay. Dave is a nice guy, and I think he's caught a lot of flack for being a nice guy. He's caught a lot of flack for being, you know, that coach that is trying to be everybody's friend, you know, trying to make sure that everybody's happy, you know, everybody's well taken care of. And that's why I say that it was like trade Chuba, sign Rico extension. You know, my thing is this. My thing is this. Okay. If they get a commitment out of Rico Dowdle and say, yeah, I'm gonna be here, okay, then this is probably a possibility. All right. But just say they trade Chuba and then get to the end of the season and then Rico Dowdle bolts and goes somewhere else. Okay. Now we really look stupid. Okay. I mean, we already look stupid not running the best running back we got at the moment. Okay. But just think about that scenario as well, right? And Dave gets up here every week and tries to put on a good face, and I applaud him for that. I applaud him. He's a nice guy. He's a nice guy. You know, I'm a nice guy at heart as well. But let me tell you, it's taken me 43 years, to realize that, everybody and their feelings always don't always have to be at the top of your to-do list. Okay. My thing is sometimes it's screw their feelings, they'll be okay. You know what I mean? And my thing is if this got anything to do with, he's trying to be fair to Chuba, or whatnot, and then you come out here and say now, oh well, we gotta do and make what's the best decision for the team. It's like Dave. Like Toby Keith and Good as I Want. So he said, I said, Dave, it's obvious. Rico is the choice. And we're not saying that you got to exclude Chuba. But my thing is this whole Rico gets a carry, gets a drive, Chuba gets a drive. Rico gets a drive, Chuba gets a drive. It's messing up the flow that has been established since the well, not since, but in the Miami game and in the Dallas game. It's messing up the flow. It's messing up the chemistry. Okay, it's messing it all up. And mind you, and now shoot, when we got this whole plethora of offensive linemen has gone down, shoot, we might not be able to get it back regardless. You never know. You know what I mean? We lost Brady Christian for the season. We don't know what's going on with Moulton in his knee. Don't know what's going on with Cade Mays in his ankle. All right. And I think they said they're not going to say anything until Wednesday, when they come out with the first injury report for week 9. You know what I mean? So it's just a mess. And then you kind of look back at it, mind you, we did get the win up in New York. Ugly win, and I say, hey, you got to be able to win the ugly games too. But this could have been, a different situation. This could have been a totally different game. Could have. Okay. So, but we'll see. All right. He had another little part to this to say as well. Let me go ahead and play this.
How will your experience with Bryce and Andy, with doing that decision you made last year with Bryce, how will that help inform you with this situation?
You talking specifically about the quarterback situation or with Chuba and Rico?
Yeah, I mean, you did not go into the quarterback benching lightly, and you were,
Gotcha.
I think, very sensitive to Andy and the whole dynamic. I just
Yeah.
wondered if that will benefit you in your handling of this.
Yeah, I'll agree, Joe. Those types of decisions prepare me more and more for how to handle it and how to make the right decision. And, at the end of the day, we have to talk as a staff and we have to make sure we're making the best step going forward. So, but all those conversations and all those decisions, they really do help kind of guide, what's at the heart of it. The heart of it is winning games and putting our best foot forward. And so that's the decision ultimately that we'll do.
Okay. So now he said that, and what Joe Person was saying is, did the decision last year to sit Bryce down in favor of Andy Dalton, give him any insight, or I guess make it any easier to try to work with the same kind of decision he got to make for Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard. And my thing is last year, okay, he went out there and he said, you know what, Bryce, you're not doing it. We're going to sit you down. We're going to let Andy Dalton play. All right. Bryce did not get back in the game until Andy Dalton got in a wreck and messed his thumb up. All right. Not to say it's not apples and it's apples and oranges here. Okay. But because you got two healthy players who can contribute. But my thing is this: if that taught you anything last year, Dave, okay, that you should rely on this year, you need to stick with the hot hand. Okay. Now, mind you, it didn't necessarily work out, with Andy Dalton. It worked out for one game. It worked out for one game against the Raiders, and then it went south after that. But even still, though, even still, all right, if Rico is out here running the ball, his average is better than Chuba. Okay, when he gets in the game, he's getting tough yards. He's seeing the field. He's making plays. He's making plays in the passing game as well. you gotta stick with the hot hand. If you are truly up here saying you gotta do what's better for the football team, okay, why did it take you two games to figure this out? You know what I mean? For all of us, okay, for all of us, I think we knew, especially after last week. It's like, oh, okay, bet, yeah, this is cool and all, but this whole splitting carries is not really gonna work. Okay, but we'll see. We'll see how this all plays out. All right. Let me get in a few more comments here. Let me see. Nervous said, and yet he's starting Chuba. Said he's not being honest here. You know what? I agree. I agree. But my thing is, what coach is gonna get up there and tell you exactly what they've been discussing behind closed door? None of them, unless they just that big of a damn blabbermouth. All right. So, he's definitely not telling the whole story here. Let me see. Exactly. They run James Cook all game long. Okay, and then they spell in what's my man named Johnson, his number 2 running back. I think it's Ty Johnson or something. You know what I mean? And my thing is, just like they was doing when ETN was the backup, run Rico. If Rico need a break, put ETN in. Okay, give him a few plays off and put him back in there. My thing is, if Rico get tired, Rico gonna pat the helmet and be like, hey, let me get out for a play. All right. And then my thing is, if we would have had a run game to consistently rely on yesterday, I think that would have took a lot of pressure, off of Andy Dalton, just like it did for Bryce Young. And on the flip side, just like it did for Josh Allen. And before anybody say anything, I'm not comparing Josh Allen to Andy Dalton nor Bryce Young. Okay, but Josh Allen threw for 160 yards, and he sat back and he handed that ball off and watched his running back do his thing. Okay, Josh Allen did make some plays, but what he did, and it's crazy. Josh Allen went back there and did the same thing that a lot of our fan base is complaining about that we're doing. Okay, we're running the ball, and even when Bryce was in there, we winning games. Bryce ain't have to do a whole lot. Okay, but for whatever reason, that pisses people off when the Panthers do it. You know, but you see another, and like I said, I'm not comparing Josh Allen to any of our quarterbacks. So before anybody say that's not what I'm doing, okay? But my thing is, he did the same thing, relied on the same formula, and what happened? They won the ball. They won the ball game. I just don't get. It's all well and good when somebody else does it. But when we do it, our fan base is still some of our fan base is still not happy. Okay. But anyway, but yeah, I think let me see. Then it said, "Nice guy don't belong NFL head coach." I don't. I, I think Canales is, a decent coach. Okay, but I think the one thing that he has to do is stand by his words. What he said here, he has to make the best decision for the team. Okay, and the best decision for the team is not trying to make sure that both of your running backs get an equal equal share of the load. You know what I mean? An equal share of carries or whatnot. That's not what's better for the team. What's best for the team, right now. What's best for the team as far as the running game is to let Rico go out there and run the ball because he's been doing it at a way better a rate and way better success rate, than Chuba has. Hell, basically this entire season. Okay, so that's what needs to be done. So we'll see. We shall see. But I'm gonna say this now. I'm gonna say this now. I'd bet money. I bet money that when we go to Green Bay and that game come on at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. No, hold on. Is the game? Hold on. Let me see. Excuse me. Yeah. Okay. I bet you money when that game come on 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time here in Charlotte. I would bet any of y'all that Chuba Hubbard is going to be in that backfield on their first drive. And I bet you money that they're going to go out there and keep doing that. Chuba gets a series, Rico gets a series. Because if it's one thing that we have learned from both of our coaches, okay, they are stubborn. They believe that their system works. Okay, and it's like they believe it works, and they don't believe in making the necessary adjustment. Okay, so you know what, Nate? Yeah, he is a nice guy, but he does have a lot of work to do to become a better NFL head coach. He really does. Okay, but like I said, our head coach, who is our offensive coordinator, and our defensive coordinator, they are both stubborn in their scheme, severely stubborn, severely stubborn. I can't tell you how many times I look and the guy sitting next to me, it was a third down play, and he looks at me and he goes, he says, "Hey," he said, "Why is J.C. Horn playing so far back on like 3rd and 2?" I said, "Dude," "welcome to Panther football." I said, "Welcome to Panthers football, dog." I said, "I don't care if it's third I don't care if it's third and an inch, and you are guaranteed that they are going to throw the ball. You are 100% sure there's no way they're going to try to run the ball, quarterback, nothing. They got to throw the ball to get a first down. If it's 3rd and 1 or third and half a yard or whatever, J.C. Horn, Mike Jackson are going to be at least 6 to 7 yards off the line of scrimmage." Yeah. So like I said, it's a lot of stubbornness in these play calls. Okay. There's a lot of stubbornness in the beliefs in these schemes by our coordinators, and our head coach. So, but yeah, that's another discussion for another day. All right, Rock Jones said Canales runs routes that seem contrary to his 2.7 second release time. Yes, 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 yes. I feel you on that. I feel you on that because you'll have a lot of plays, and like I said, that one play when Andy got sacked, he has two receivers going out on these long corner routes, right? And then two receivers doing comeback routes, and Buffalo has it all covered. I mean, like covered up. You got a safety, but both safeties are playing deep. And it's crazy. They ran a zone, but they ran it to perfection. You got your cornerbacks who are underneath, okay? Then you got your safeties over top, and you got your damn linebackers in the back pocket of no, I'm sorry, your nickelbacks in the back pocket of both of these receivers out here running these comeback routes, and it was nowhere to go. But yeah, I feel you, Rock. Said, "Don't make decision with your heart, make it with your brain." Facts, facts. And you know what? And we're all guilty of it. You know, I think we're all guilty of it. And anybody who says they're not, they're lying to you. Okay, we all make decisions with our heart sometimes instead of our brains. But yeah, that's something he got to get out of. Will, appreciate the $5 super chat, man. He says, "No, I think it will be different next Sunday." So he kind of alluded to that. Well, you know what, Will? I'll believe it when I see it. Okay. I'm going to hold true to that. I'm gonna mention again in the preview, too. I'm telling you, I bet you money. I bet you money that Chuba Hubbard is going to be the starting quarterback starting running back in Green Bay. I bet. Canales is stubborn. He is stubborn. He is going, and you know what? And it's I feel like that because that's me to a certain extent. It's just like, you know what? Sometimes I'll be like, I'm gonna make this work. I'm gonna make. I know this is gonna work. I'm gonna make this work. You know what I mean? And sometimes I got to sit there and look back, and I'm like, you know what, dog? Damn, it's time to give up on it. And for me, it takes me a while. Ask Janelle. Ask Janelle. She'll tell you. That's why I'm sitting there like, yeah, nah, no. Watch what I tell you. I hope I'm wrong. I would love to be wrong, but I'm pretty much certain that Chuba's gonna be starting running back. He's gonna be starting running back come Sunday, and they're gonna keep continuing on with that. You get a series, you get a series. Even if Rico Dowd does get the start, I guarantee you Chuba Hubbard will be in the next series, and they're gonna keep that mess up. You get a series, you get a series. You get a series, you get a series, and it ain't gonna work. So, but I appreciate the $5 with him, man. As always, thank you, player. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, y'all. So I don't have anything else for y'all. That is, oh yes, I do. I'm bugging. Okay. Look, I got stuff. I got a couple more slides. I got stuff written down for them too. But it's just a stock up and stock down. All right. So stock up. All right. Hold on. Let me see. Nate says We're getting 12.5 points next week from Packers. Good luck. And yeah. Yo, let me tell you. Let me tell you. And my thing is this: God, God help whoever is the starting quarterback for us next week. Because let me tell you, Micah Parsons is a damn fool. You hear me? I know he ain't been doing quite as much as he was in Dallas, earlier this season. But yeah, don't sleep on Michael Parsons. Do not sleep on Michael Parsons. Dave and this offense they've got to figure out a way to get the ball off quickly. You saw Aaron Rodgers doing it last night. Okay, when he saw Michael Parsons going around there and kind of doing that little blitz from the what is it? A gap or B gap, right in between the guard and the center. He was doing that. He was circling around doing that little blitz. Let me tell you, Aaron Rodgers was like, "Nah, player, let me go ahead and get this joint out, check this down." Excuse me, and move on. To another play. But yeah, we definitely gonna need some luck next week. Especially if our offensive line situation does not improve. I pray that it does. I hope it will. But yeah, yeah, yeah. Yash Nyman in Icky versus Michael Parsons. Gonna be a long day for them boys. Long day. Yeah, with our injuries on the offensive line, you absolutely right. Absolutely right. Right. Okay, stock up. I got T Mac. Okay, 7 catches, 99 yards. Rico. Okay, and I got Rico down on stock up because even though his numbers, aren't the same as it was those previous 2 games against the Dolphins and the Cowboys, you still see in the numbers, in the averages, why he is the better choice right now to get the lion's share of the carries in the backfield. Okay, so stock up on Rico Dowdle. Stock up yesterday too for Jalen Coker. Okay, Jalen Coker made some catches, got back in the game. Hopefully he can continue to get some more reps, some more catches. But one thing about Coker, hands are reliable. You throw the ball his way, if he's got a shot at getting it, he is going to bring it in. Okay, but that's about all I got for stock up for from this game though. Now stock down, boy, stock down. Lord have mercy. Okay. Dave Canales time management, stock down. Okay. His 2-minute drill, in my opinion, is there's not enough hustle. Okay, questionable play calling, and just terrible situational football. In my opinion, and it's been that way the entire season, the entire season. Okay, sometimes it's just like stop being cute with the play calling and just move the damn ball down the field. Okay, but yeah, all right. Also stock down. Ivero's adjustment. Okay, let me let y'all on a little secret, everybody. Hold on, let me move the mic out the way. There were none. Okay, there were no adjustments from this defense yesterday. they got just railroaded from start to finish. Okay, and like I said, if we, and like I said, I didn't really notice this until after the game, but Tony noticed this while watching the game, at home. They were running away from Ashawn and D Brown the entire game. The entire game. Wherever they lined up, they ran the opposite way. And then when if one or two of them weren't on the field, then they were running the ball up the middle of the field. And you saw all this before halftime. All right. No adjustments were made. Steady up there with 4-man fronts. All right. Mind you, after the first couple of runs and James Cook was getting off, it should have been some adjustments to the fronts and how many personnel in those fronts. So we'll see. But stock down on Evero for that. Okay, stock down on the O-line. All right. And not attacking them, but as far as the depth going forward, definite stock down. All right. We got to see how the injuries play out this week. But they were down to the last offensive lineman that they had available, which was Nick Samick. I think that's his name. He was the last offensive lineman available. Okay. And my thing is this: Chandler Zavala is I think they're going to start his 21-day window this week. Okay. Zavala is a guard. All right. We have Austin Corbett, we have Damian Lewis, we have Nick Samick, we have and maybe Chandler Zavala. Okay. Brady Christensen was our backup left tackle. Josh Nyman is our backup right tackle. Okay. So my thing is they got to figure something out because we are out of offensive linemen. And currently at the moment, I don't think we have a backup left or right tackle. Okay. And hold on, let me go to the depth chart here real quick. And let me see. Yeah. Yeah. They got Jake Curhan. Nick, yeah. Yep. They got Josh Nyman listed as as the backup for both tackles, left and right. Yeah, buddy. It's gonna be a mess. All right. Stock down on Chuba. Okay. And again, not trying to bash or hate on Chuba, but the numbers do not lie. Okay. The numbers do not lie. Rico Dowdle is the better option right now. Okay, he is the better option right now. The only way for Chuba to to go out, he's got to go out there and prove that he can produce just as much as Rico Dowdle. Okay, now if he starts going out there and doing that, and you giving them drive by drive, and they're both going out there and doing the same thing, then by all means, hey, keep it up. If the run game is doing good like that, go for it. But right now, it's not. Okay. Like I said, just a stock down Chu because, like I said, the numbers do not lie, and they're not in his favor right now. All right. Stock down, Andy Dalton. Okay. Terrible game yesterday. If Bryce is not ready to go this week in Green Bay, he's got to do better. He's got to do way better. Excuse me. And let me tell you, I am glad this game isn't 1 o'clock. I'm glad it ain't no 4 o'clock game, and I'm glad it ain't no night game, no Sunday night game or nothing. I don't know what the weather's gonna be like up there. I gotta look at it. But I mean, hell, I know it's the highs only in the 50s here in Charlotte this week. You know what I mean? So I could just imagine. But like I said, I think it's a good thing the game is at 1. But we shall see. All right. And right now, also, Rico Dowdle, okay? He is 5th in the league in yards, okay? And he is 4th in the league at yards per carry at 5.7, okay? 5.7 yards per carry. Chuba Hubbard right now is sitting at 3.6. He is a whole 2.1 yards per carry worse than Rico Dowdle, all right? Sergeant Velvet Tone. Excuse me. But yeah, man. All right. But yeah, so that's all I got for y'all tonight. Like I said, shout out to everybody else that's live. I know I know everybody is live and talking about this mess of a game, that we had yesterday. For those of y'all that stuck with me tonight, I appreciate you. Thank you for the love and support. Okay. Again, to all my members, everybody that's watching, thank you, thank you, thank you. As always, you can catch me on all social media at Armchair GMCJ. Okay. So hopefully, next week, the Panthers, one, okay, we'll have some good news as far as the injury front. Two, I hope that they're able to bring in some more help on this offensive line, from the practice squad, maybe some potential free agents out there. We shall see. Not really liking Josh Nyman having to start again, but we'll see how that goes. Well, we'll see how that goes depending on Taylor Moton. Okay. But let me say, when I say this was not the stretch of games to get offensive line injuries. This was definitely not the stretch of games that you want to do, right? I mean, we got to play. We played Buffalo. I mean, and Buffalo's defensive ends were putting in work. We got to go up to Green Bay. We got Michael Parsons. We got to go out to San Francisco on Monday night. Okay, and but well, hell, if I'm not mistaken, Bosa brother, Nick Bosa, I think he's out for the season. But still, but still, I have to look at their depth chart, but I'm sure that's not going to be a pushover. Okay. And then we get back in shoot, and then the end of the month, you got the Rams coming to Charlotte, and that they got Jared, was it Jared Verse and Brian Young? Hopefully, what Nick Scorton and Prince Umamielin turn out to be like that pair that they have in LA. But them boys out here ball. All right, so we'll see. But again, thank y'all for all the love and support. Thank you for the super chats. Tip Jury Will, thank you for the $2 super chats. I greatly appreciate you. All right. And as always, Panther Nation, I'm going to leave y'all with 3 things. Number 1, y'all be good. Number 2, y'all be safe. And even on this non-victory Monday, all right, keep pounding, man. I'll see you.